Have you ever wondered why some people seem to breeze through life, effortlessly connecting with others, handling stress like pros, and climbing the ladder of success, while others, despite being incredibly smart, struggle to get ahead? It's a question that hits home for so many of us, and it's exactly the puzzle that Arash faced when he stepped into the real world. Arash was the kind of guy who had it all figured out, or so he thought. He aced every exam, topped his class, and landed his dream job with ease. He believed his sharp intellect was the golden ticket to a perfect life. But once he started working, reality slapped him hard. His brilliant ideas didn't get the attention they deserved, his colleagues didn't warm up to him, and stress started piling up like a mountain he couldn't climb. It was frustrating, confusing, and honestly, a little scary. What was he missing? That's where The Other Kind of Smart by Harvey Deutschendorf comes in, and let me tell you, it's a game changer. This book isn't about IQ, it's about emotional intelligence, or EI, the other kind of smart that can transform your life, just like it did for Arash. Emotional intelligence is all about understanding and managing your own emotions, connecting with others on a deeper level, and navigating life's ups and downs with grace. It's the difference between being book smart and life smart, and the best part? It's a skill you can learn, no matter where you're starting from. So, grab a comfy seat because we're about to walk through Arash's journey of discovering EI, breaking down the book's big ideas into bite-sized, relatable pieces. Think of this as your personal coaching session. By the end, you'll know why EI matters, how it can change your life, and how you can start building it today. Let's kick things off with Arash's story because it's one you might see yourself in. Picture this. Arash is fresh out of school, armed with a stellar resume and a brain that's always been his superpower. In school, he was the golden boy, top grades, teacher's pet, the works. He thought the real world would be more of the same. But a few months into his dream job, he hit a wall. His ideas, no matter how clever, were brushed aside. His colleagues, who didn't even have half his qualifications, were the ones everyone loved. They got the big projects, the praise, the promotions. Arash couldn't wrap his head around it. Wasn't his intellect enough? One day, fed up and fuming, he vented to his buddy Karen. "I'm smarter than most of these people," he groaned, "but they're the ones getting ahead. What's the deal?" Karen smirked and threw him a curveball. "Ever heard of emotional intelligence?" Arash laughed it off. Emotions? What did feelings have to do with success? But Karen's next words stuck. If you can't connect with people or handle your own emotions, all that brain power's just going to sit there collecting dust. That hit Arash like a lightning bolt. Maybe his IQ wasn't the whole picture. Maybe there was another kind of smart he'd been ignoring all along. That's when Arash picked up The Other Kind of Smart, and it opened his eyes to a truth we all wrestle with: being smart isn't enough. You've probably felt it too, those moments when you've got all the answers but still can't seem to win people over or keep your cool under pressure. It's a universal struggle because we're wired to think intellect is king. From the time we're kids, we're pushed to ace tests, solve problems, and be the brightest bulb in the room. Emotions? They're often treated like a messy inconvenience, something to shove down or ignore. Arash grew up with that mindset. He'd always been praised for his brain, not his heart, so he figured feelings were irrelevant. But at work, he saw the gap loud and clear. Take his first big presentation, he'd slaved over the data, nailed every detail, but when he pitched it, the room was a graveyard. People yawned, scrolled their phones, barely looked up. Later that day, his colleague Anushka shared a simple idea, not as polished as his, but she told it like a story, hooked everyone, and got the green light. Arash was floored. It wasn't about the facts, it was about the connection. That's the problem this book tackles head-on. IQ might get you in the door, but without EI, you're stuck spinning your wheels. So why do we struggle with this other kind of smart? It's not because we're broken, it's because we've been conditioned to sideline it. Society drills into us that logic and achievement are what matter. We're taught to tough it out, stay rational, and don't get emotional. Arash bought into that hook, line, and sinker. He thought showing emotions was a weakness, so he bottled them up. But here's the kicker: suppressed emotions don't vanish, they fester. For Arash, that meant stress turning into frustration, frustration into impatience, and impatience into missed opportunities. Sound familiar? Maybe you've snapped at someone because you were stressed or clammed up when you should have spoken out. It's not just conditioning though, there's fear too. Emotions make us vulnerable, and vulnerability feels risky. Arash worried that opening up would make him look soft or unprofessional. Plus, let's be real, most of us never got a crash course in feelings. Schools don't teach you how to handle stress or read a room, they teach algebra and essays. Without practice or role models, EI stays on the back burner. But here's the hope: it's not a fixed trait. It's a skill you can grow, and Deutschendorf's book shows you how. What exactly is emotional intelligence? At its core, it's about mastering two things, your own emotions and your relationships with others. The book breaks it down into 5 key pieces. Think of them as tools in your EI toolbox. First up is self-awareness, knowing what you're feeling and why. Arash started noticing how his stress spiked before presentations or how irritation flared when his ideas were ignored. Next is self-regulation, keeping those emotions in check instead of letting them run the show. Arash learned to pause and breathe instead of snapping. Then there's motivation, channeling your emotions to push you forward, not drag you down. Arash began seeing challenges as chances to grow, not threats to avoid. Fourth is empathy, stepping into someone else's shoes. Arash started understanding his colleagues' perspectives instead of just pushing his own. And finally, social skills, communicating and connecting like a pro. For Arash, that meant listening better and speaking up with confidence. These aren't fluffy ideas, they're the building blocks of a smarter, more effective you. The book argues that while IQ might help you solve a math problem, EI helps you solve life. It's why Anushka's storytelling beat Arash's data dump and why his calm team lead, Rohit, could rally everyone during a crisis while Arash floundered. Now let's get practical. How do you actually build this stuff? Arash's journey is packed with strategies you can steal right now. Start with the pause. It's simple but powerful. Arash used to freak out the second a stressful email hit his inbox, a heart racing, mind spiraling. But he learned to stop. Take a deep breath, count to 10, and think before reacting. It's like hitting the reset button on your brain. Try it next time you're about to lose it, say when your boss drops a last-minute task on you. Just pause. You'll be amazed how much clearer you think. Then there's active listening. Arash was a chronic half-listener, always waiting for his turn to talk. But he flipped the script. No distractions, full eye contact, nodding along, asking questions like, what happened next? It made people feel heard and suddenly they trusted him more. You can do this too. Next time your friend vents, don't jump in with advice. Just listen. Another gem is being assertive, not aggressive. Arash used to swing between silence and shouting, but he found the sweet spot, clear, confident, respectful. When a teammate pitched a shaky plan, he'd say, I see where you're going, but I think there's a better way, let's talk it out. It's firm without being a jerk. Give it a shot, speak up in your next meeting, but keep it kind. And don't sleep on reframing stress. Arash stopped seeing tight deadlines as disasters and started thinking, this is my chance to shine. It's like turning a hurdle into a stepping stone. Pick one of these and run with it. Small steps add up fast. Why is EI so tough to crack, though? Beyond the cultural obsession with IQ, there's a psychological layer. Our brains are wired for survival, not always for connection. When stress hits, your fight or flight kicks in, great for outrunning a lion, lousy for a calm chat with your boss. Arash's knee-jerk reactions came from that primal wiring, and yours might too. Add in personal baggage like Arash's fear that emotions equaled weakness, and it's a recipe for struggle. We also tend to overthink, especially when we're insecure. Arash would replay every ignored idea assuming he wasn't good enough, which only fueled his stress. Ever done that? It's a trap. But here's the science-backed silver lining. Your brain can rewire itself. Every time you practice EI, like pausing before snapping, you're building new neural pathways. It's like flexing a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it gets. That's why Arash didn't stay stuck, and neither do you have to. Arash's turnaround proves it's doable. He started with stress. Deadlines used to crush him, but he began pausing, breaking tasks into chunks, and delegating. During a crazy 3-day project, he stayed cool, rallied his team, and nailed it, client included. His confidence soared. Then he tackled listening. In meetings, he zipped it and focused on others, picking up on their vibes. When a junior messed up, he didn't scold, he asked, what's going on, and guided him. The kid thanked him, and Arash felt like a real leader. Assertiveness came next. He stopped shying away from tough talks. When his salary needed a boost, he told his manager, I've been consistent, my responsibilities have grown, can we review my pay? Straight, professional, no fluff. It worked. And empathy sealed the deal. He started seeing people, not just problems. When a teammate bombed a presentation, he didn't judge, he asked why, learned about her home stress, and offered help. Their bond grew, and so did his influence. Bit by bit, Arash transformed, less stress, tighter relationships, a thriving career. He wasn't just smarter, he was happier. Here's the best part, you can do this too. Arash isn't some prodigy, he's you, me, anyone willing to try. Emotional intelligence isn't a gift, it's a grind worth working. Imagine handling stress like it's no big deal, connecting with people effortlessly, feeling solid in your own skin. EI makes that real. Where do you start? Pick one thing. Maybe it's pausing next time you're mad or really listening to your partner tonight. Don't aim for perfect, aim for progress. Ask yourself, what if you could turn frustration into focus or awkward silences into real talks? How would that feel? It's not pie in the sky, it's yours for the taking. Arash learned that being smart isn't just about what you know, it's about how you show up, how you lift others, how you grow. So take that first step today. Pause, listen, speak up, feel it. You've got this and the world's better for it.